Well, hello, welcome to the Biotopes. Thanks so much everybody for coming back. So, if you've ever had your tanks where you've got some algae, there's some hair algae, things seem not being out of balance, it's not looking quite right, this is the video for you today. I'm going to take you around and show you 2 aquariums where I'm still in the process of getting them in balance. We'll talk about what that means and what steps you can take to get that fixed and get your tanks looking the way you want. So let me show you the 2 tanks we're talking about today. Alright, first tank is this one here. This is the Southern China biotope, the Zen Jin River. And as you can see, we've got just some hair algae there in the Valsinaria. There's some hair algae on the substrate. I've pulled a lot of the hair algae out of here over the last couple of days. Notice all the air bubbles, by the way. So whenever my sump runs a little bit low, the outflow will be pushing some air, and that'll cause some of the plants to have that those air bubbles in it. So I just filled up the pump or the sump there, and now it's at the right level. So that's what that is. Anyway. So we've got some hair algae in the plants. That's my main issue. I don't care about algae on the sides of the tanks. I think or much of the back. You can't see much of the back here, but we've got a little bit of hair algae on the back. But mainly I want to get some of this hair algae that's kind of stringy in between the plants. I'll show you a good way to get some of that off. I don't want to cut the valve down because the main reason why this tank looks the way it does is because of this light. So this light does not have a dimmer, and it's pretty strong. And when you've got a lot of light and a lot of nutrients, you get algae. I've worked out to get this, turn the light down in terms of the amount of time, because I can't change the intensity. And I've got it going on 10 minutes during the morning before I go to work, so I can feed the tank and check in on everything. And let me show you here, this is just an app I've got for some Bluetooth timers, so it's got it on a timer. So 7:50 to 8, it's on for 10 minutes. Then on working days, it comes on at 9:55 and it goes off at 9. So that's 10 hours and 55 minutes plus 10, so just over 11 hours right now. So that might be too much. On the weekends, it comes on at 9:30 and goes off at 9, so that's 11 and a half hours. So we're running about 11 and a half hours right now on this tank, which I've been dialing down over time as I manually remove some of the algae, dial the light back down. This tank is not heavily stocked. I've got one tire track eel. He's kind of under this rock here, or she. 4 paradise gouramis, 1 white cloud mountain minnow that's left, and then 1 female endler was supposed to be a feeder, but is still hanging tough in there. So it's not heavily stocked. It's a 75-gallon tank. I've got Valsinaria. I've got some hair grass over here. I probably need to get a bunch of more of that and try to increase the plants in here to try to suck it up. I do have some pothos up here and kind of a spider type plant that's emerged, and I've got those roots in here to kind of suck out some of the nutrients. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is test the nitrates in this tank and this system. Remember, this is on top of our South Johnstone Australian tank, which is fine. It's a less strong light. I think that's just a Phoenix Stingray. And I've got a ton of big valve that's covering the surface. You can see here, so it's a little bit darker in this tank. So this tank does not have any algae much at all, a little bit kind of on the sides here, but that's it. So the water is the same, it's the light on this one that's different. So I'm going to just do a quick test. I like to test probably semi, regularly. I'd say once a month I test the water just to see how things are going. Also test if there's some kind of issue that I'm seeing in the tanks. But the main issue here is a high light, and I just have to keep dialing that time back in this, and also manually remove some of this hair algae. So anyway, let's test the nitrate, and then we'll see where that's at. Pull some of the hair algae out, and then depending on the nitrate levels, maybe I'll do a little bit of a water change. I just did a water change yesterday, so it shouldn't be too bad. So I'll be interested to see what that is today. I did not test it yesterday, so we'll see what that is today. So let's get our nitrate tests going. All right, so here's the test. It's going to have to sit for about 5 minutes. By the way, the new API test kit has these like attached plastic lids, and it's a plastic instead of the glass test tubes, which is phenomenal. So nice job API on that improvement, because I've broken many glass test tubes, and the plastic caps were a pain. So nice job. We'll let that go. We'll see what that's like in about 5 minutes. Okay, we're at 5 minutes. Let's check it out. It looks to be at 20, maybe 40. Tough to say. 20 to 40 there on that. So not too bad for a planted tank. What I'll probably do is another water change, just try to get it a little bit lower, but that's not terrible. It kind of, it's not 160 or even 80. So it kind of tells me again that it's the light in this tank that is the main issue. I know it looks bright right here. Let me see if I can turn it down. I can't turn it down while I'm recording, but I've got the compensation way up just so that we can see the tanks as they're darker. So it's a little bit brighter than what it looks. So, all right, next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to get in here and remove some of this hair algae. I'm going to try to show you guys how I do that. So I got a step ladder I have to get up here with. I'm going to see if you guys can see. I just took the lids off. I don't know, can you guys see the springtails on the top of this? They're kind of bouncing around. You guys can see that at all, but lots of life. There's probably some blue-green algae here in those plants, especially like you can see some right there. Try to pull some of that out. But okay, let's get you guys set up and show you guys a little bit how I do this. I hope you guys can see this here, but what I'll do is I use some like planting tweezers, and I'll go in and grab some of that hair algae, and I'll just twirl it like I'm twirling spaghetti, and it'll pull it off of those balsamary leaves. And I just dump it like in a little container, because my Central American cichlids will love to eat that. I'm going to go in the bottom here and grab some of the pieces that are down here. A lot of plant debris and dead plant leaves. I'm going to try to remove as much as I can here, because all of that just contributes to the organics and nutrients in the water. get as much of that as I can. The problem too here is that I don't, because of the tire track eel, I can't really put in shrimp, any Amano shrimp or cherry shrimp, because the eel will definitely eat them. So I can't do that. I could put in some cherry barbs or Florida flatfish that eat hair algae, but I really want to try to keep this biotope specific. And sort of like hill stream loaches, which eat not really hair algae. The only thing I could do in here that is biotope specific is goldfish, which I may end up doing is just get one goldfish for this. Goldfish will eat the hair algae. I don't know how it's going to do with all the val in here, if it's going to eat that. If any of you guys have goldfish, then let me know if they eat like Valsinaria type plants. Be helpful. Let me know that in the comments. Again, just trying to pull up some of this hair algae as much as I can without pulling the plants up. Just trying to find some of the stringy, kind of the worst areas as I can. I just twirl that around the pincers, and it kind of pulls it right out of there. Some of this hair algae is the green, kind of the blue-green algae stuck on some of the emergent plant roots. So I'm going to keep at this, and then I'll show you guys when I'm done, kind of where we're at. See if it makes any difference. Alright, so I don't know if you can tell, but that is a little bit better. In terms of that, there's still going to be some hair algae, and these are biotope aquariums, so I don't want it to be super clean. This is replicating a river in nature, and natural rivers have algae and leaf litter and detritus, so that's what we're recreating. So I don't want it to be spick and span, but I did want to try to get it more balanced, and I think that was a good start to it. So, alright, so that's pretty much. Hopefully, you guys got to see a little bit about how that goes. I won't show you guys the water change. I'll do water change on that later. The other tank that I want to get just some manual remover of is this one. This is the Godavari River in central India, and you can see there's just some hair algae off this rock, off these plants, off this wood. I just want to try to start to get a little bit, mainly this rock, clean that rock off a little bit, get some of the stringy hair algae that's coming off of these pounded eaten leaves, and a little bit off this wood here. And I think that will be, I don't mind the stuff on the rocks or in the substrate. That's fine to me, but I don't want it stringy all the way through the tank. I've got some on here, stringing down here, coming off kind of the ground. That's a little bit too long, coming off those leaves. So I need to do some manual removal of that. So I'm gonna get that cleaned up, and I'll show you guys a little bit after. Okay. All right, so putting on some hair algae. I got all this hair algae off this rock. I just use some of my tweezers and a toothbrush and scrub a little bit of the back glass, cleaned up this, kind of getting in some algae on it, cleaned up a little bit of this wood, you can see, and some is hanging off those leaves at the top. I'm not done. I didn't do this half of the tank. I just did this half because what will happen is that algae is going to move around the tank, and then it's going to get sucked up here in the overflow and get stuck to that sponge. And then I can, when I do a water change, I can take that sponge off, clean that, and remove the algae altogether. But that should give, see there's some hair algae kind of flowing through the water. That'll get sucked out there. So yeah, so definitely on the right track. This is a Hygger light, and that is programmable. I just got that set up kind of DIY to kind of ramp up and cool down, and it's only at like 100% for a couple hours a day. So it's mostly, 80%, 50% kind of through the day, on and off, as it ramps up and then ramps down. So I think we're on the right track. Once we get some of this algae taken out, I do need to add a fish. I may be adding some cherry barbs to this, which are biotope correct, which are really good hair algae eaters, but we'll see. Haven't decided on that yet. So we're getting on the right track. All right, everybody, so that is it for today. Thanks so much for tuning in. Just some regular maintenance. Hopefully you guys learned a little bit today about how to get your tanks kind of established and balanced with light, nutrients. In the beginning, algae often is going to be part of the deal, and you're just going to have to learn how to kind of balance out your light intensity or duration, how many plants you have in the tank, those types of things, until it kind of gets established and gets kind of on the right track and balanced out. So hopefully that helped you guys. Please help me out here. I'm trying to grow the channel. Give me some subscription, like this, share it out, and look forward to talking to you guys next time. Thanks so much.